Hey guys, how we doing today? This is Wally with LearningNet.com. And if you guys are watching this Hostpapa review, it means that you want to create a website with their platform, but not really sure which plan will be ideal for you. So I was able to set up an account with them, and after doing so, I put together this little review to give you guys an overview of what to expect before getting started. Before we get started with this YouTube review, if you guys are totally new here to this channel, for LearningNet.com, hit the subscribe button, guys, right below, along with the bell. And that way, any future videos that I upload, you'll be sure to receive them. So I just wanted to give you guys an overview of what we're going to be talking about today in this video review for Hostpapa. I'm going to be talking about costs, how affordable it is for beginners. We're going to be talking about reliability, how is their uptime performance on their servers, to really give you guys an idea of how reliable their web hosting is overall. I'm going to be also talking about competitors in this same space that provide similar web hosting packages, comparing the prices. That way you guys can have a big picture to see the overall benefits and advantages of hosting with Hostpapa versus with other providers. I'm going to be talking about features, for example, like unlimited features versus restrictions. Again, comparing some of the top competitors with Hostpapa's packages itself. That way, again, you guys can see the overall benefits of hosting with them, just comparing like what you're getting in the way of like resources and tools. Obviously, we're going to talk about customer support. What do people think about Hostpapa's hosting overall, their personal experience with them? I'm going to tell you guys about my personal experience as well, and also share with you an external source that'll help you guys to have an unbiased viewpoint of Hostpapa. Okay, we're going to touch on security. Obviously, we are bombarded each and every day with things like malware, spam, also hackers trying to break into websites. So what is Hostpapa doing to protect your websites? We're going to be talking about that because I think it's extremely important to know what a web hosting provider is doing for you to protect your websites, not only with Hostpapa, but with any web hosting provider out there. So that is a brief overview, guys, of what we're going to be talking about today. Let's get started with this video review. You guys are going to find a link that's right below. It's the very first one in the descriptions portion of this video. I want you to click on it right now. When you do, it's going to give you guys up to 70% off discount on your web hosting today. It is an affiliate link. I do receive credit for it if you do use it, but you guys benefit in several ways by saving up to 70% off today with your web hosting. And also, you'll be helping to keep this YouTube channel up and going. And, obviously when I invest in web hosting providers, it does cost me to do that. And even to be able to create like YouTube tutorials showing you guys how to create WordPress websites, with their platform itself. I'm going to be uploading another video on the channel showing you step-by-step how to create a website, using WordPress. And so it'd be ideal for beginners, all of which does cost me to do it. But by me showing you guys step by step how to do it, you'll be saving hundreds or even thousands of dollars, by learning the simple things that you guys can learn on my YouTube videos. Okay, so if that's something that you guys are looking forward to learning more about, go ahead and hit the like button, drop a comment right below, and let me know that you're interested in seeing a step-by-step video tutorial on how to create a website with Hostpapa. Okay, so again, I really appreciate you guys using the link below to purchase your web hosting today. So obviously when you create any website online, you need to think about two things. One is a domain name, what you're going to call your website. In my case, it's LearningNet.com. It's very short and simple. In fact, if you guys hop over to my site, I do have a review for Hostpapa on the website itself. You can see it right here. You guys will notice about my domain name that it's very short. It's simple. It doesn't have like any numbers or dashes or anything like that. So when you guys create your account today with Hostpapa using the links below, you want to think about the domain name itself that you want to reserve online. You'll get it for free with Hostpapa, but you do want to think about something that's short, simple, straightforward, doesn't have like any numbers or dashes or anything crazy like that in it. You want to make it super simple for your visitors to remember. When it comes to web hosting itself, Hostpapa has 3 different plans that you guys can select from. If you click on the link that's right below, it'll bring you to their landing page, which looks like this. As for like WordPress hosting, if you're going with that, The shared hosting itself is pretty much set up in the same way. There are some slight differences with the resources itself. But again, if you want to create like a WordPress blog, a website, or perhaps like a e-commerce store, online, you can use the link again that's right below, and it'll bring you directly to this page right here. You'll notice that there are 3 tiers that you can select from: the starter, business, and business pro. If you are a beginner and you've never created a website online, guys, I highly recommend that you get started with the starter plan itself. When you do, you're going to be saving 60% off today with your web hosting, and you'll get it for only $3.95. It's an amazing deal. It's going to allow you to create not 1, but 2 websites, online. A lot of Hostpapa competitors online. We're going to talk about quite a few of them today in this Hostpapa hosting review. Many of them only allow you to create 1 website on the very first tier, but as you guys can clearly see, with Hostpapa, you can create 2 websites, which is amazing. If you're doing like affiliate marketing, network marketing, or you have several projects that you want to accomplish in the next coming months or years, I highly, highly recommend bumping up to at least the business plan. The Business Pro will also allow you to create unlimited websites. So you guys can clearly see here, but across the board, you're going to get the free domains. You have unlimited SSD storage, which again promotes fast page loads itself. Is super secure. It's what every web hosting provider should be using online to promote optimum security with your accounts itself. You'll notice that on the first tier itself, you can get 100 email accounts that you can set up with it. I only have like a few, but again, you can set up to 100. So it really depends on your personal taste and what you want to do. If you want to create like, I don't know, maybe like a customer support at whatever your domain name is, or like a sales at xyzdomain.com, whatever type of email account you want to set up. If you need one, you can do up to 100 on the first tier. Obviously, when you bump up to the second and third, you can create unlimited email accounts, with that. A lot of providers online don't have like emails accounts that you can like set up or access, on your account itself. So I think that's a really good feature that they have, across the board. And you have more than enough in the way of resources and space, even with your email accounts itself. You notice that across the board with each of the tiers, guys, that you have some essential features, some advanced and premium. As you bump up, obviously you'll have more resources as you upgrade. I don't really think that you need the business or business pro if you're a beginner. You can just scale up to that as you grow with your website over time. Every website grows, with time. When you get like more web traffic online and you build more traction, and you're getting website visitors not only from the US, but you get them from around the world like learningnet.com does. Perhaps you can upgrade, later. But it really depends on what your particular goals are, with your website. I think that if you're a beginner, again, go with the starter plan itself. It allows you to create 2 websites versus just 1. And I think it's ideal for beginners, online. Something that I wanted to talk about, in addition to the web hosting packages, is obviously cost. Now, you'll notice that with the web hosting packages across the board, they have some amazing, amazing deals that are going on right now. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this Hostpapa hosting a review with you guys. You'll notice that with the first tier, it's only $3.95 for the introductory rate itself. With the business, it's $5.95. And for the third tier, it's $12.95. And so what I recommend across the board, not only with Hostpapa, but with any web hosting provider online, guys, is that you purchase more web hosting up front. Because what typically happens with any web hosting provider online, the web hosting itself gets more expensive when your term actually renews. So in the case of Hostpapa, when the first tier renews, it's going to bump up to $9.99, which is still really cheap in comparison with a lot of competitors. I'm going to show you some of them today. The second tier, the business plan, it bumps up to $14.99, and the business pro bumps up to $23.99, which again, in comparing them with other providers, online, other competitors of Hostpapa, I still think it's an amazing deal. But I recommend getting 3 years up front. It's like a little bit over $100, which is amazing. A lot of web hosting providers for your very first year will charge you about $100. So being that you're getting 3 years up front, if you opt to get that, It's just a little bit over $100, for that. So take advantage of the deal that's presented, right here, because I'm not sure how long these deals are going to last, but it's an amazing deal that's going on right now. And for that reason, I wanted you guys to take advantage of it today by using the links below. Okay. And so that's really how web hosting works across the board, not only with Hostpapa, but with any web hosting provider online. You'll typically have some cheaper rates, introductory deals that are presented, to you. In the case of Hostpapa, you can see it in green with the discounts that are provided, with the links up below. But when it renews, you'll see that it will be a little bit more expensive. And so across the board, they have some very, very cheap, affordable rates for both beginners and advanced users that perhaps want to migrate over to their platform itself. Now, one thing that I wanted to talk about is reliability. I touched on this in the beginning of this Hostpapa review. Reliability with websites is typically measured with uptime performance. And uptime performance really measures how often your website is available online. For example, in this video review, you're watching it on YouTube. But if you were on Google, Yahoo, or Bing, and you keyed into your browser, Hostpapa hosting review or Hostpapa web hosting review, and my website popped up in the SERPs, and you click through, when you click through, my website is up and available, and you can actually read like the review itself. It means that my website is up. But if for some reason my website was down, it means it would be an issue with uptime. And so my website is always up all the time. Don't have downtime issues. Hostpapa has really, really nice uptime performance. They maintain an average of 99.9% or better. And so they have high availability on their servers. And that's something that is extremely important that you should know about before getting started with a web hosting provider. It's important because when your website is up, it means that your brand is getting exposure online. And as a result, you'll make more potential sales, with your service or product that you sell on your website. But if your website is down with a provider that doesn't have good uptime performance, then it means that you could lose potential sales. And obviously it is a factor to rank, high in the search engines, especially with Google. They actually look at the uptime performance of your web hosting provider. So in the case of a Hostpapa, they have rock solid web hosting performance. And I think that's something that you should know about before getting started today. Now, I mentioned that I wanted to also highlight some competitors. You might be wondering, why am I talking about competitors in this Hostpapa hosting review? All of my reviews, guys, online on the channel are 100% unbiased. And so I give you the good and the bad, and that way you guys can really compare not only the hosting provider that you want to get started with today, but you can also see what other competitors offer. And that way you can really appreciate the benefits and advantages that you're getting today by getting started with a Hostpapa. And so one competitor that I wanted to talk about first to really help you to appreciate, again, the savings that you're getting. I mentioned that with the first tier, Hostpapa allows you to create 2 websites versus just one. It's only $3.95 for the introductory rate. If you were to hop over to SiteGround and you check out like their WordPress hosting itself, you'll see that they have 3 tiers: a startup, grow big, and go geek. Right now, they're running like a special right now, and it's $3.99 per month. Typically, it'll be at like $6.99. So right now, they're running like a special where you're getting up to 73% off of these 3 tiers, whichever one that you decide to go to. But again, it only allows you to host one website. So you can only create one website, one blog, or one e-commerce store. In this case, it's not bad, but it is a little bit more expensive. And you can see obviously that when this deal ends, if you only purchase like 1 year, of it, just for an example, it's going to bump up to $14.99. There are restrictions with SiteGround. With Hostpapa, you don't have any restrictions with how much web traffic you can get to your website. But you can see, like in the case of their first tier, you can get 10,000. The second will handle up to 100,000, and in the third tier, 400,000. So that's really good. It is, but again, there's some cap offs, right here. And so you can see that overall, there's some really nice benefits and features that come, with SiteGround itself. But when you look at the renewals, it is more expensive with SiteGround. Across the board, SiteGround has amazing customer support. They're really great page loads as well, great uptime, just like Hostpapa, but they are more expensive, for the web hosting itself. If you look at another competitor, for example, GoDaddy, a lot of people purchase domain names at GoDaddy. I used to purchase GoDaddy domains before, but I stopped buying them there because they're just so expensive. Their web hosting is expensive as well. When you look at their WordPress prices that I brought up here, you see that on their very first tier. It's just a basic plan, guys. It's $8.99 per month with that. And again, you can see that there are restrictions that you have with the storage. There's 33 gigabytes of storage that you have here. It supports 25,000 monthly visitors. This again is the first tier that we're talking about right here, guys. And so again, you can only host one site, with that. As you bump up, you can see resources do increase, and you're getting to the unlimited phase of things with the last two tiers, the ultimate and the e-commerce tiers itself. And so obviously, you don't really get to like the unlimited visitor point until you get to the third and fourth tiers. But again, with Hostpapa, unlimited traffic across the board, and so you really don't have to worry, about that. You can see that the pricing, $11.99, $18.99, $20.99. So again, it's more expensive at GoDaddy, and I just wanted to show you guys, how they compare, with Hostpapa. If you look at another competitor such as Bluehost, and again, all of these providers here do service, globally. So it really doesn't matter where it is that you're situated in the world, whether you're here in the US, you're in Europe, you're in Asia, wherever you're located, all of these providers service or have, clients globally. And again, I just wanted to show you guys how they compare with Hostpapa. If you look at Bluehost, they're a very popular web hosting provider, online. You can't go too many places and not hear something about Bluehost. They do have some really nice packages across the board. You'll see that with their plans itself. This is the shared hosting itself that we're looking at based on 12 months. You can see that you are getting for $295. When it renews, it's going to renew at $9.99. So in the case of Hostpapa, when you go back to it, we're talking about the same thing. It renews at $9.99, but with Bluehost's case, they have a deal for $295. So it's a little slightly cheaper, right? With that, like $1 cheaper with that on the basic plan. But again, it only allows you to host one site. And you do have some restrictions with SSD storage. But once you bump up to like Plus, Choice Plus, and Pro, that's when you're able to create, unlimited sites itself. And obviously you can see right here in the second tier, $545, the same for the Plus. You can see with Pro, it's $13.95. And again, you're really entering into like the unlimited. So you really have to get the Plus, Choice Plus, or Pro to get unlimited. So you can see that, again, you're running the same thing, like $5.95. With Bluehost's case, it's $5.45, the deal that they're running. But when it renews, it's going to renew at $18.99. So it's pretty expensive. You got to look at both, not only the special introductory rates that they have going, but also what it's going to renew once your term, actually ends. And so you can see across the board that Hostpapa is really cheap. It's super affordable, not only with their introductory rates, but also with their renewals. If you look at another competitor, for example, E2 Hosting, I really like them as well. I do have an account with them. If you look at their hosting, they have different types of hosting, but if we focus in like specifically on like their WordPress hosting, you'll see that they have some really, really nice hosting itself. Their plans that you see here, and it starts at $11.99. And again, you can host one website. If you look at like DreamHost, several different providers that are out here, they have some really nice hosting as well. You'll see with their WordPress hosting itself, they have a deal that they're running right now, and it's $199 per month that's going on right now. So I'll drop links to all of these providers right below if you want to check them out and to see like what they have in the event you don't go with Hostpapa. But again, I wanted to share to help you guys to really appreciate, the benefits and advantages of going with Hostpapa. versus, a lot of their competitors that are out there. You'll see right now they have a deal for $199 that they're advertising, like on their website. But typically, the hosting itself starts at $259, and again, it allows you to host just one website itself. But again, with Hostpapa, you can host two websites. If you look at two more providers, AccuWeb Hosting, I have an account with them as well. They're really, really nice, very reliable. If you look at their WordPress hosting itself, you'll see that they have some nice packages as well. But if you take a look at their pricing, it starts at $9.99 out the gate. And so again, with Hostpapa, it's $3.95. But AccuWeb Hosting, which I also have an account with them, if you're going specifically for WordPress hosting, it starts at $9.99, for their web hosting. And you'll see that in this case, guys, you're able to host, one website with it. One last provider that I wanted to show you was InMotion Hosting, which is really nice as well. Their shared hosting starts at $299. But if you were to look at like their WordPress hosting right now, you'll see that it runs at $6.99 per month. And again, you'll see that in the case of InMotion Hosting, it only allows you to host one website, and it does have a lot of restrictions that come with it. So again, you can see that comparing several Hostpapa competitors that are out there, that across the board, you can host more websites with the first tier, the starter plan, allow you to host two sites, with that, and you're getting more resources in the way of like SSD storage, and it allow you to support unlimited amounts of traffic, across the board, with their sites itself. And so I really, really love that. Hostpapa has that, in place, and that way you guys can appreciate the great benefits that they have with their hosting itself. And so I did talk about unlimited versus restrictions itself. Across the board, Hostpapa is an amazing web hosting provider with super affordable rates for both beginners and even advanced users that want to migrate over to their platform. Now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is customer support. How good is Hostpapa's customer support? And so they have phone support, chat support, email support. It's really, really fast. They're really, really knowledgeable, and I really love that about Hostpapa itself. My personal experiences with them have been amazing. When you Google online and you check out different Hostpapa reviews, you'll find that people have had some amazing experiences, with them, and they're very grateful for, like the service that they're receiving from them. There's an external site that I wanted to share with you guys, again, to make sure that this Hostpapa review is 100% unbiased, and I'm not just expressing, my personal opinion about, what I think about Hostpapa, but I'm also sharing with you guys what other people think, about them. So Trustpilot is a site that I'll frequent to check out a web hosting provider before I actually get started with them. In the case of Hostpapa, you'll see that 506 reviews have been left, on their profile itself. Of those, they've been given a rating of 3.6 out of 5. And so you'll see positive as well as negative reviews, on their platform itself. But you'll notice that with any web hosting provider online, you'll see both positives and negatives. Just to help you guys appreciate what it is that I'm talking about, if you plug in like Bluehost, for example, any web hosting provider, you can plug in here and you can see the overall rating of how people view the particular host itself. Like in the case of Bluehost, if you plug in like their site itself, you'll see their profile, pop up here. And that way you can see again that they have a lot of positives and they have some negatives. Like in the case of Bluehost, they have a 3.0 out of 5 stars. And so basically, guys, with any web hosting provider that you want to check out, you can always come over to like Trustpilot. You can plug in the name of that provider and you can see what people think, about it. So I just wanted to include that in this Hostpapa hosting review to make sure that it's 100% unbiased. And that way you guys can get the good and the bad of Hostpapa. But across the board, they have amazing customer support, super fast. If you have any questions about, your hosting itself, or you have any issues, you can always get in contact with somebody really fast. Another point that I wanted to talk to you guys about in this Hostpapa hosting review that came to mind is security. We live in a world where websites are bombarded each and every day with spam, malware, hackers. And so, what is Hostpapa doing to protect your websites? What can you expect when you get started today? They do give you free SSL certificates. That's a given. Google expects that. They actually look for that. If your website pops up in the search results and they see a website that says unsecure, it might be a deterrent for them and they may not click through your website itself. And so in the case of Hostpapa, they do give you free SSL certificates to make sure that your website is 100% secure from the get-go. They do also perform automatic website backups. So in the event something occurs with your site, you always have a copy of it. That way you can restore it with one click and you're all good to go to continue online with your site itself. Something else that I really love about Hostpop across the board in the way of security is that they have Sitelock, and Sitelock performs daily scans like every website to check for things like malware. And if you do have malware on your site, they'll remove it for you. And so I think that's an amazing thing, again, to help your website to stay safe and secure online and protect it from anything that it may come up against. They also protect your website against brute force and DDoS attacks using Cloud Linux. So Hostpapa does take a lot of proactive measures to make sure that your websites always stay secure online. Now, we talked before about uptime performance. Some things that really help to contribute to better performance across the board, with your web hosting is having things like CDNs. CDNs are content delivery networks. In the case of Hostpapa, they provide you a CDN for free through Cloudflare. I think that every web hosting provider should provide these for free. A lot of them charge for it. You need a CDN because it helps with a lot of things. For example, to promote faster page loads. Of course, they have SSD storage, which contributes to that as well. But when you have like traffic coming from like all around the world, like in the case of my site, learnernet.com, I have visitors from the US. I get visitors from Europe. I get visitors from Australia. I get visitors from all around the world. And so the way how my website is able to process all of that traffic without crashing is through a CDN. Every website should have a CDN. You get it for free through Hostpapa, and you can integrate it very easily with the platform itself. If you are hosting right now with another provider that you've been having issues with and you don't like and you want to leave them, like today, you can do that. Hostpapa does provide a free site migration. And so if you want to move your site today, you guys can take advantage of the links that are right below. And that way you can migrate your website over without any downtime at all. It's a seamless process and it's completely hands off. Another amazing thing, guys, that contributes to the solid uptime performance that Hostpapa has across the board are the several data centers that they have, globally. A lot of web hosting providers, many of which that we talked about today in this Hostpapa hosting review, typically only have maybe 2, 4, maybe 6, data centers or so. They're very limited. But in the case of Hostpapa, they have 102 global data centers in 50 countries spread across North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia Pacific, China, Oceania, and the Middle East. And so it really doesn't matter where you're situated. Hostpapa is based in Canada, but again, they have clients globally. So rest assured, guys, that you'll be able to count on having super reliable service with Hostpapa no matter where you're situated in the world. Most people, when creating websites, like to use WordPress. WordPress is a super popular CMS platform. It's really ideally for like beginners, online. It's very user friendly, doesn't require any experience at all with like HTML and coding. And so, obviously when you get started today with Hostpapa, you'll be able to select the CMS platform that you want to create your website with. I recommend using WordPress. If you don't want to use WordPress, you can use Joomla, there's Drupal, Magento, OpenCart, and several others. There are well over 400 applications from which you can select to build your website on today. And so I like that they provide a lot of flexibility when it comes to the creation of your website, and also have like website builders where you can like drag and drop, and it makes it really easy for beginners to create sites online. If in any event you get started and you feel that Hostpapa is not for you, they do offer a 30-day money back guarantee. Most web hosting providers out there offer a standard 30-day money-back guarantee, so that's right in line with the refund policy that Hostpapa offers. And so these are some basic points, guys, that I put together in this video review that I wanted to highlight with you. Again, to help you to appreciate all of the wonderful benefits and advantages that you'll receive from hosting with Hostpapa. Of course, I wanted to make sure that this Hostpapa hosting review was unbiased. And for that reason, I wanted to pull in different providers, competitors of Hostpapa, just to help you to see the pricing and some of the overall like features that those competitors offer in conjunction with Hostpapa itself. But overall, you can see that you're getting more value with Hostpapa. And so for that reason, I highly recommend beginners to get started, with them. They're super reliable web hosting provider. They have amazing customer support guys. And I think they have all the resources and tools that you'll need to create your website from ground up. And so what do you guys think about this Hostpapa hosting review? Did you like it? Did you guys receive value from it? If so, smash that like button right now. That way you can show your support on this YouTube channel. Be sure to share it online. That way other amazing people just like yourselves will be able to find this YouTube video and search. Also, get started today, guys, with a link that's right below. It's going to give you an amazing discount on your web hosting today. And that way you can start building your website from scratch today within the next few moments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video review. If so, again, subscribe to this channel, and that way future videos that I upload, you'll be sure to receive them. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you guys have much success in your endeavors with your online business, not only for this year, but going forward. And I hope you guys stay safe during COVID. Have an amazing day. Take care.